This week we read the latter part of 1 Samuel and the beginning of 2 Samuel, and we read some Psalms. And a few things that struck me in these readings is what I'm going to share with you now. Of course, we read about the kingship of David and how he began to rule, how some people tried to betray him, including his own son. But what I want to bring out in this readings, it's a few things. First is the relationship between David and Jonathan, which I spoke about a few weeks ago, and how, because of that relationship, in the places we read this week, we saw that because of that relationship between David and Jonathan, because of the good deed of Jonathan, David blessed Jonathan's sons called Mephibosheth, and he brought him into his palace and made sure that he was cared for, though he was lame in the leg. That just shows that good deeds does pay off at the end of the day. The other thing is we read about David and Bathsheba, and for those that don't know who Bathsheba was, Bathsheba is actually the wife of Uriah, who was like one of David's military men, and he made sure that he was killed, such that he killed Uriah because of his adultery. So he was trying to cover up for himself. But at the end of the day, God found him out of God. God called him out, sent Nathan the prophet to him and told him what he did was wrong and all that. And I'll come back to that. And then the other thing was about, what's his name again? Amnon. Amnon raped his sister. And the only reason why Amnon raped his sister was because he had a bad friend. He had a friend that told him to do this evil thing because it's evil. And he went along and did it. So the power of association is very important. We need to know the kind of people we move with, we associate with, the kind of people our children move with. We should be aware of that as well. And going back to David, one thing I wanted to bring out is I always marvel at how much God loves David, even with everything he did. But I want you to go back and read Psalm 51, and then you will realize the reason why God loved David so much, even with everything he did, because he knew how to go back to God and ask for forgiveness and eulogize God, which we should be doing more often. And that was why David was able to be a man after God's own heart. Have a blessed week, and the readings will be at the end of the slide.